Hi, and welcome to Psychic Today. I'm your host, Jill Roberts, and we're going to continue with the Crystalline Exploration series. So, we're going to be talking crystals, crystals, crystals. Um, Believe it or not, we're almost done with all the Azestulites that are in um, the energy vortex power grid or pouch, however you want to do them. You can lay them in a crystal grid if you prefer. I find they um, give a more powerful punch when you wear them. So that's just me. I just want to look and see what we've gone over so far in other episodes. So we did the white Azeztulite, the original, from North Carolina and Vermont. We did the Sandarosa. We did the Amazez. We did the pink, which is also Rhododez. We did Cinezez, which is kind of like cinnabar and quartz azeztulite put together. We did golden azeztulite, which is a very powerful stone. We also did, I'm just seeing what we did not do. I'm looking through all of my azeztulite notes. We did all the Sachulokas, which was clear, rose, and yellow. And so what we have left to do is today we're going to talk about a stone called Sauralite. It's a New Zealand type of azeztulite, and it's very beautiful. It's very crystallized as opposed to other azeztulite stones. They're almost kind of not druzy per se. They can be depending on the size of the piece that you get. But if you order them in, 1-inch pieces, you'll see the difference. They're kind of like amethyst in that sense, where, or if you look inside a geode, it's kind of very prismatic like that. So we still have the Himalayas to go through. The Himalaya gold, the pink fire, the red fire, and I believe honey and cream and black. But there are new azeztulites being added. So, for example, I just got in yesterday a New Zealand white azeztulite. So that's, of course, it. I don't know when he discovered it, but it was in his fall catalog. So fairly recently. But anyway, let's get started. So there's some key words with Sauralite. It is an azeztulite, okay? And they are marriage of divine light with earthly matter, physical enlightenment, heart-centered consciousness, the divine feminine as the earth, spiritual purification, joy and happiness. The elements are earth, air, fire, water, and storm. And the chakras are all, including the earth star, soul star, and the transpersonal and etheric chakras, which are above the head and below the feet. Okay? So let's just talk about Sauralite, period. Sauralite's the name given to various crystallized forms of New Zealand azeztulite. The name Sauralite is derived from the Hindu word Saura, which means the great sun or spiritual sun. Sauralite crystals, like all azestulites, are a silicon dioxide mineral with a hexagonal crystal system, and it has a hardness of 7. Sauralite azeztulite crystals are found in mountainous areas of New Zealand, often in the abandoned tunnels of old gold mines. There's a great variety of growth patterns, ranging from sheets of microcrystalline honeycombs to jagged cathedral points to sparkling druzy clusters. Most sauralite is white, but a small percentage is naturally stained a rich red-brown, and even smaller percentage displays some purple amethyst. So Sauralites, they're crystals of intricate and varying forms. Again, they're going to be different from all the other Azeztulites in the sense of they kind of look more like amethyst, even if they're white. Okay? They include clusters of tiny druzy points, coral-like honeycombs of white crystal, geometric pseudomorphs, and other unique patterns. And their variety reflects on the vitality and the originality of the spiritual earth as she expresses herself in New Zealand's beauty. And in the stones forms from that living crucible. So it's all a matter of what's going on at the time, basically. Energetically, though, it's immediately clear when you pick up one of these stones that it is an Azeztulite. And the Azez had predicted that Mr. Simmons would be discovering Azeztulites in places all over the earth. The currents carry the unmistakable Azeztulite vibrations, so they have a special quality that's distinctive to them. They're very happy stones, and they induce great happiness, sometimes to the level of ecstatic rapture. In anyone who opens to them, they can fill one's head and one's cells with pure white light. Can also help with Kundalini activations too. Sauralite vibrates with astonishing intensity, combining the nameless light of the great central sun with the living vitality of the earth. New Zealand is one of those energetically clearest places on the planet, and where the light of heaven and the love of earth are vibrantly intermingled. And these stones are evidence of it. They carry the purpose of Azeztulite in its full realization, the living light of the divine, married to the density of matter. In meditation, these stones literally draw the light down through the crown while they open to the base chakra for an upwelling of the earth's energies. They allow one to become a living vessel for spreading of light and for dissolving of fear, pain, anything else that is negatively affecting you. They're stones of physical enlightenment, making the body a place of ecstatic celebration of union with the divine earth. Sauralites are the most feminine of the Azeztulites, and that's because the earth's vitality is so alive in them. They can help us awaken to the joy of co-creative partnership with the living earth. In this state, we experience the disappearance of linear time and an ongoing unfoldment of magical synchronistic manifestation in every single moment. To work deeply with Sauralite Azeztulite is to enter into a new way of being, kind of a multidimensional awareness of encompassing joy, forgiveness, communion, magic, ecstasy, and unity with the earth. Emotionally, and in self-healing work, I recommend Sauralite for issues around depression or grief. These stones can be used to help dispel stress, inner tension, and to relieve the negative obsessions about past events. They can aid in clearing past life negative fixations that are impairing emotional or physical well-being. In meditation, Sauralites can put one in touch with the co-creative edge of the world coming to be, the flowing stream of eternity entering into time. These stones can guide you into a state of heart sovereignty in which one's consciousness is heart-centered and the mind defers to it, and it serves and it encourages living in the world within a state of constant being. And it serves the heart's wisdom. They stimulate the imagination and inspiration. They are a leading edge of the new consciousness. And Mr. Simmons has a whole book on stones of the new consciousness. They can provide us with both a vision of the new earth and the experience of how we can enter it, while simultaneously helping to bring it to birth. I feel that Sauralite has emerged at this time because of all of our spiritual evolutions. We've reached an important level now. There are now more individuals who are aware of the light in the cells and of their own subtle body makeup. Working with Sauralite can aid these people to fully awaken of their own subtle, of their liquid crystal body matrix to its own body consciousness. Conjoined with our mental consciousness, our heart awareness, and the spiritual earth, the heart is the bridge of light between the mental consciousness, which we're familiar with, and bodily knowing of the new human. Solar light carries the quickening energies to stimulate this transformation. This is a joyful awakening. It's truly an ecstatic one. The great question posed to us by Sauralite and by she who is Earth is, will you give up your old life for a new unknown joy? How many of us are ready to answer yes to that invitation? Because, a lot of the time we feel that, the devil we know is better than the devil we don't, to use that expression. It takes courage to answer, I want to drop the old ways of doing stuff and give up my old life, to have faith and enter a new one, and one that's filled with joy. I view Sauralites as stones carrying the vibration of the divine feminine. And it's the divine feminine in her new manifestation, the consciousness and joy of the illumined earth. Sauralite tells me that Garden of Eden is not the past, but in the future. And this is the future. It's approaching us very quickly. Even in the face of all the environmental degradation we see in the daily news, the earth is arising to meet the light of the great central sun. And in this merging will come the healing and the joy for which all our hearts are longing for. When we work with Sauralite, Azeztulite, allowing that energy to permeate us is as if one cell of the body of earth has turned on its inner light. And more of us do so, more light is kindled in her body, and the cascade of light that is her fully awakened is kindled. All of these Azeztulites, as well as other stones, are serving of this purpose. But in Sauralite, it's a gentle, playful, loving light. And it's really a light that's most accessible. Sauralite resonates with, of course, Rose Sophia, Anandalite, Tibetan Techite, Astarline, Guardianite, and other Azeztulites. It's a powerful addition to the Synergy 12. It harmonizes with Naturalite, Pedalite, Phenakite, Anandalite, and other stones of vibrational ascension. And it's able to receive and benefit from the Azozeo super activation process. So, and of course, it is an energy vortex power stone. So, you can see why it would be important to have this stone either in your grid or in your pouch. Because, again, we cannot always get to these sacred sites. They may not be near us. These sacred sites are also geometric and part of the Earth's chakras. So, it's important to create an energy vortex pouch for yourself. You need these power stones. If we want to talk about with Sauralite with amethyst, when I held a piece of Sauralite with amethyst, I felt a focus of currents at the crown chakra, and I saw an inner light of deep violet hue pulsating in my inner vision. It was almost like the violet flame opal. I felt intense currents in the crown chakra that gradually flowed down through my whole body. There was a strong sense that I was experiencing an inner purification. on the cellular level, and of course the etheric. Um, when they did reach my feet, I could feel the tingling and the pulsations. It got a little bit more hot in temperature, and I just felt like I was being cleansed of everything, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. I was being cleansed of um, thoughts that don't serve me anymore, um, ways of acting, ways of looking at things. So, of all the stones, Sauralite is a stone that, can be the most delightful in introducing Azeztulites to people. So if you want to start, if you haven't worked with any Azeztulites, Sauralite's a great one to work with. Spiritually, Sauralite awakens the consciousness of the new human being and the new earth. It infuses the body, heart, soul with the gentlest, most delicate, and loving light imaginable. Emotionally, it awakens the consciousness of the new human. I did that already. I'm sorry. Emotionally, Sauralite emanates a contagious happiness. It fills up your heart and it brings illumination to the mind. The future way of being of the spiritual human being can be glimpsed within this happiness. Physically, it brings joy to the body, reminding the cells that their destiny is to be, trillions of radiant suns. So it fills them with light as well. And there's a great affirmation with this. It's, I accept with gratitude and passion the offer of the light of heaven and the love of earth to be their child. I'll say it one more time. I accept with gratitude and passion the offer of the light of heaven and the love of earth to be their child. And that's exactly what it is. We're creating a vibrational ascension, and with Sauralite, we're bringing that light down into the body, and then the body is connecting to Mother Earth, and it's just, doing the heart alignment exercise. There's a guided meditation in one of my episodes. I always describe each segment, so you'll see it in there if you look under the notes for each episode. I would do that, especially with this stone. It's a beautiful stone. It feels good to work with. Whether you have, a lot of times I'll get 4 of each or just 2. I like to have one in each one of my hands. Sometimes I like to put one on my heart and one on my third eye or crown, depending on the stone it is. And with Sauralite, it is such an amazing feeling. It almost gives you that ecstasy of the Kundalini. So definitely, I know you can get these on eBay. I just caution you, or on Etsy or other sources. I caution you with the Azeztulites only because, there's some prices that aren't right on eBay. For example, I've seen people selling phenakite for like $13 for like 65 grams, and a little tiny sliver of real phenakite would cost you in the hundreds. So, if you're going to be buying, I would buy from heavenandearthjewelry.com, which is Robert Simmons's website. Doesn't mean you're buying jewelry. You can buy them in raw and tumbled stones. You can buy them in shapes. You can buy them in wands. You can buy them in whatever. And they do have a dream pouch with one of each Azeztulite in it for $100, which may sound really expensive to you, but if you were to buy all of these stones separately, it would cost you much more than that. So for $100, you get all these Azeztulites, you get one of each, and then you can add in the other stones, which is, I think, Agnatite, Naturalite, um, Moldavite, and some others. But I have to look over my Energy Vortex Power Stones again. And, as the new Azestulites come in, I like to throw them in my bag. So I'll put Rose Sophia in there. There's a new Himalayan red gold Azeztulite, which isn't spoken about in any of Robert's books. There's the green fire Azeztulite and the blue-green Azeztulite. So those, you can get a tumbled or a raw stone. I try and get raw whenever possible. And as a matter of fact, the shipment I got in yesterday, everything was tumbled. But I got some really great stones. I got Moldo quartz and blue libertite and scheelite and all of these kind of beautiful multi-dimensional stones. And of course, the New Zealand white Azeztulite. The New Zealand white Azeztulite is a little bit different from the Sauralite. Sauralite is a New Zealand white Azeztulite, but it's different in the sense of the way it looks, the way it feels, and what it does. All of the Azestulites are high vibrational stones. And what we want to do is we want to work with them. We want to get to know them with any of your stones. It doesn't have to be just the stones I'm talking about. You want to form a bond. You want to see what they can do for you. You want to see what you can do together. You want to get in touch with the crystal being, because that's how you're going to raise your vibration. And then you can do things like channeling and, mediumship, or even just a better meditation. So it's really important to work with stones, because there's something physical that can help us raise our vibration. Because if we don't, we're letting in low-level entities, and we're not protecting ourselves. If we're higher vibrationally and frequency-wise, low-level entities can't get near us. So it's important to work with stones in whatever capacity, in whatever divination tool you might be using, whether it's tarot or dowsing or whatever, or Ouija. I don't like to use the Ouija board, but that's just me. I have no problem with dowsing, but I do dowsing in a different way. So, that's just that. So I'll be right back. And I think today we're going to talk about one of the last Azestulites that before all of the Himalayas, which is black Azeztulite. Stay tuned. Hi, this is Jill Roberts. I'm the host of Psychic Today. And what I want to talk to you today is about Anchor. Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? When I was trying to get this podcast off the ground, I had so many questions, such as, how do I even record an episode? How do I get my show into the apps that people like to listen to them on? How do I make money from my podcast? The answer to every one of these questions is really simple. It's Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. And best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. And now Anchor can match you with great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast. That means you can get paid to podcast right away. In fact, that's what I'm doing right now by reading this ad. I really couldn't have done it without Anchor. And I've tried other platforms, and by far Anchor is the best. So if you always wanted to start a podcast, make money doing it, go to anchor.fm/start. That's Anchor, ANCHOR.FM/start to join me and the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. That's anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast. and welcome back to Psychic Today. I'm your host, Jill Roberts, and we're going to continue with the Crystalline Exploration series, and we're going to talk about black azeztulite. So, what I would like to say about the darker azestulites, because I believe there's also black tourmaline azeztulite as well. This is different. It reminds me a lot of Master Shamanite. It has a different feeling to it. So it's kind of dark night of the soul type of crystal, even though it is high vibrational. So let's kick off with black azeztulite, and it's from the good old USA here. Some keywords are light within the darkness, complete transformation, memory of one's divinity, dissolution of negative patterns, protection, infusion of spiritual light, alchemical philosopher's stone. The elements are earth, wind, and storm, and it pertains to all of the chakras. Black azeztulite, it's a combination of quartz and black calcite, and it's found only in Vermont in the USA. The calcite component of the stone is unusually rich in magnesium. The hardness of the quartz component of the stone is 7, and its crystal system is hexagonal. The hardness of the calcite is only 3, and its crystal system is trigonal. Overall, the stone is quite hard, much closer to 7 than 3. Black azeztulite is found in the same areas where Vermont's white azeztulite has been discovered. In some instances, the black azeztulite is attached to white azeztulite stones, oddly enough. So, now the discovery of black azeztulite heralds a new chapter in the saga of the penetration of the substance of the earth and of humanity by the nameless light of the great central sun. These stones physically embody the metaphors of the light within darkness, and their energies can impart that experience to whomever tunes to these stones. You know, when I first sat down and I introduced myself to black azeztulite, I was really taken by surprise because I was able to, when I felt its current, I was expecting, somewhat more muted version of the azestulites just because of the color tone. Of course, black is always protection in the color wheel, and pertaining it to chakras, it's usually associated with the base, the root chakra. But it wasn't. It was very potent. And it was like a truly awesome power. At first, I held the stone over my heart and I invited it into my field. And we should do that because besides our personal body, our physical body, we have, and the aura, we have subtle bodies. So, this is how we feel energy. So you want to invite it into your field like you would if you were doing a mediumship reading, where you invite that person's loved one into your field so you could see, feel, hear, what's going on. You want to do that with the stones. But I experienced my body filling up with the tingling sensation all over. And then came a feeling of like a little bit of a discomfort at certain locations in my body, whether it was in my head or my crown chakra. And when I inquired about this, I was shown that the stone was dissolving some inappropriate pattern or attachments, clearing my chakras where it needed to be. So obviously I had a lot of gunk at that time in my crown chakra area. So, as this progresses, you start to feel waves of energy grow more powerful and more powerful. It's almost like the ocean, and you begin to resonate with the body from head to toe with it. And there appeared the most beautiful white light coming from a very dark stone, which is really amazing. It's said to be the stone of the midnight sun. It's related to the huge black hole at the center of our galaxy, and it represents the moment of singularity in which all laws of the universe become fluid and changeable. It is a stone of the 0 point, and this is important. As such, it can be a very powerful catalyst for spiritual transformation. When one fully attunes to black azeztulite, one can literally change anything about yourself. Okay? Ultimately, create profound changes in your outer world as well. Making both sorts of changes involves a commitment of your will that is free from hesitation or doubt. If you can fully focus in this way, the co-creative potential of working with these stones is absolutely unlimited. As a stone of spiritual self-healing, black azeztulite is very powerful. It naturally works to cleanse and clears one's body and energy field of negative energies, disharmonious attachments, implants, psychic parasites, and inappropriate karmic patterns. This stone means business. So for anybody who's experiencing any type of paranormal problems or negative entity attachments, you want to use black azeztulite. You want to meditate with it. You want to keep it with you, whether it be in your pocket, your bra, in your bed, under your pillow. You want to have it with you because it is a very protective stone. It suggests that it can be applied to the spiritual healing of conditions in which the body attacks itself. So it's great for autoimmune stuff. It's powerful to dispel what negative is coupled with the infusion of blissful and even ecstatic light. The light reminds us of who and what we truly are, which is the most profound healing of all. To awaken to the real memory that we are emanations of divinity rather than isolated personalities is perhaps the greatest gift these stones can convey. The black calcite and the white quartz components of black azeztulite intertwine energetically to offer power and protection to those who work with it. It can help one attune to the light deep within the heart of the darkest density of matter and to call that light for guidance and assistance. For those working with the stone shamanically, black azeztulite is a perfect ally. Its light keeps one safe from the approach of negative entities, allowing one to work on the inner planes without being vulnerable to psychic attack. Black azeztulite, even though it is very powerful, is more grounded than some of the other azestulites and can help sensitive people to take on high vibrations without losing hold of their physical bodies. In fact, black azeztulite tends to work on the body so that it can handle much higher and stronger energies than it could before. On the emotional level, black azeztulite is excellent for purging attachments to old emotional wounds, grief, resentment, anger, and fear. It reminds the subconscious that the light and the love of the divine is always present. These stones are themselves the very embodiment of that presence. In terms of spiritual alchemy, black azeztulite completes the triad of red, white, and black, the three major aspects of the Philosopher's Stone. The other two are red fire azeztulite and white azeztulite. Sometimes you can utilize different stones to represent the three aspects, but these are definitely my favorites. Working with these three stones together can open one to experiencing the multiple transformations of self the multiple transformations of self, and you can bring successful alchemical aspirants to instantaneous enlightenment and fulfillment. It's the great work on an individual level. You can simultaneously enlighten yourself, the whole of humanity, and the earth itself its ultimate goal of the alchemical opus. This is the purpose behind the activation of all Azestulites, and is the journey that the Azez have invited all of us to take. Black Azeztulite is especially powerful at times of eclipses or of the new moon, and so those inclined are invited to create rituals for receiving and channeling its currents during, those times and such events. These stones resonate to the judgment card of the tarot, and as such, they are awakened to the call of one's highest spiritual destiny. Black Azeztulite combines harmoniously with all other Azestulites, as well as, like I said earlier, Master Shamanite, of course, Black Obsidian, Black Jade, Black Tourmaline, Smoky Quartz, Gardenite, Z-Stone, Prophecy Stones, Phenakite, Naturalite, Herderite, Brookite, Damberite, and Pedalite. Basically, the Synergy 12 stones, all the Azestulites, and some of the Shaman stones. It responds favorably when subjected to the Azazeo superactivation process. So, spiritually, again, Black Azeztulite clears away all inner obstacles and disharmony. It fills your body with light and divine presence. It protects, empowers, and awakens. Emotionally, Black Azeztulite aids you in releasing negative emotional attachments and infuses you with spiritual joy. Physically, it can be used for spiritual treatment of conditions in which the body attacks itself. So it's wonderful for any autoimmune problems. And there's a beautiful affirmation I like to share with you. And it is, I am the power of light existing even in darkness. Again, I am the power of light existing even in darkness. So this is an awesome stone to work with, especially if you're going to be doing shamanic journeying. I do want to get back to our shamanic sessions as well. I received an amazing book by Laurie Morrison, who is a shaman, about power animals, and I've gone through it, and it's a great resource for looking up certain animals that you may either see within meditation or in a journey, or just animals that you find yourself drawn to. So we will be going over that sometime soon. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And again, you can leave me a voice message. Just look in the show notes and let me know what you thought, if you have a question, and I'll get back to you. Email me at info@psychicmediumnyc.com. Check out my blog, psychicmediumnewyorkcity.com, and my services at psychicmediumnyc.com. Okay, and of course, I'm sending you all my love and light. Be gentle with yourself and with others, because we all truly deserve to live an extraordinary life.